Always, but what's actually, let's go down here and break it down completely because this story is really crazy. It all began when 50 posted a crazy message on Instagram warning Claressa Shields, the accomplished boxer caught in the midst of all this chaos, to keep everything digital and not to fight Remy. He wrote whatever when 50 warned that Remy might receive the blick. He wasn't joking, as we all know he doesn't mince words. He recapped Remy's infamous 2007 incident in which she was imprisoned for firing the trigger, but this is where it gets crazy. Rema didn't take this line down, she retaliated, and the incident just got out of control. So let's go on to the genuine tea that has everyone talking. Remo posted some supposed text messages between Papoose and his purported new girlfriend, world boxing champion Claressa Shields, on Instagram, and they were messy. Everyone, y'all, what is going on with Remy Ma, Papoose, and Claressa Shields? Like, I woke up this morning and I saw that Remy Ma and Claressa Shields are going back and forth on Instagram, and then I guess Remy Ma caught Papoose and Claressa on the phone falling asleep together and stuff like that. You are the one who is married. So the image with her own thoughts. Papoose dozed down as Claressa Shields was lying in my house. He won't leave this bee who was supposedly a world champion boxer. And she hung off as soon as she heard me. Now that I'm sharing everything, you're not alone, baby girl. Yes, Remy came. She'd accused Claressa of spreading false information to harm her reputation, while Papoose appeared to be a hero on her Instagram stories. But she wasn't finished yet. Rema wrote, this woman knows Claressa Shields and that sort of publicity team had been spreading false information about me every day to make me look bad and him look like God's gift. For too long I pleaded with Papoose to stop the story, but he insisted that the best course of action was to keep quiet. I'm tired, and here's the knockout punch. And he said he would never you because you're ugly, but don't worry, I saw everything and the world will see it because you're so tough. Claressa swiftly clapped back, stating that a woman with 2 boyfriends is upset with a man who has a girlfriend. Naturally, why are you tabbing me if I'm not the only one? Retorting once more, Remy wrote that she's not out here juggling boyfriends. Hey Miss Shields, I'm a 1-boyfriend woman, just like I was a 1-husband woman, and I'm a good woman at that, which is why has won't just go. Then she further disparaged Claressa by saying, oh, and he's never going to buy you anything because he thinks he's the prize. He's a taper, not a giver, and I'm the one with the bad law. Remy continued, I'm not even mad, actually I'm very happy, and that's why your boyfriend is mad. She added, playing with me because I'm not the enemy you want. Oh, and you mismentioned feeling foolish, although Pon minced words when discussing his frustrations with the back and forth. His charge that Remy is deceiving truly grabbed notice. The story he suggested is that the reason she's upset is that he's leaving, and this is where things get even more sinister. Remy continued, claiming she had audio evidence to support her claims that Papoose had threatened to call the police on her and even accused him of physical abuse. Just when we thought it couldn't get much worse, Papoose intervened and completely changed the story, saying that Remy was the one who was unfaithful and that he had been attempting to divorce her for months. Pap took to social media to attack her. I just read that Remy was dealing with a battle rapper named Easy to block Captain, and at one of the events, cause she has this a battle rap Liga Chrome 23, and she hosts these rap battles, and at one of the rap battles allegedly she was hugged up with battle rapper Easy Block the Captain. He didn't stop there though. He openly accused Remy of spending Christmas 2023 cuddling with battle rapper Easy the Block Captain. Pap didn't hold back, calling her out as a narcissist and declaring that he was done being silent. His caption read, while I was at home with my daughter last Christmas. This is where Rema was now that I finally moved on. She's angry and making up lies. Pap wasn't finished though, claiming that Remy begged him to lie about knocking out Easy. Apparently Pap knocked out Easy and Remy wanted to hide it. Added, she kept pleading with me to lie about the knockout in the messages I still received, but it doesn't matter because he didn't return the hit. Since Dawn is quite affectionate for Papoose, this entire circumstance must seem like the greatest betrayal. Remember that this man held Remy down during some of her worst years. P was a true support system for her during her time in prison, taking care of her son, visiting her frequently, and teaching everyone what it meant to be ride or die. Now we know Remy and Papoose as black love couples. We've been on that for years. Pat held Ree down while she served 6 years in prison. She ain't had nothing to worry about cause he held everything down, from her son to the home and everything, when she for being from you no other guys. And however, this Pap's discovery that the woman he maintained for years supposedly cuddled up with the block captain over Christmas had to be devastating. And to make matters worse, now that Pap has allegedly moved on with the younger woman, Remy is out here feeling resentful. He talks of making things worse for Papoose, as if all he created with Remy came crashing. So I got one of them here tonight for happy birthday. Don't trust your brother, don't even trust your mom. At this point fight, she wasn't just talking trash though. She used the entire feud to promote her upcoming fight in Flint, Michigan on February 2nd. 2025. As if that weren't enough, she also promoted her Christmas Day movie. Claressa added, "Come get a whooping crash out versus Claressa Shields versus EXPOSES Remy Ma February 2nd Inside the Fire." Now let's face it, this is the kind of promotion that only Claressa Shields could pull off. Remy, on the other hand, didn't back down either, continuing to go back and forth with all of this to happen in order to finally end the chapter with Ray. Papoose is making it apparent that he's done playing nice. Let's get to the point. Some believe that Pap is relishing the attention, knowing that the internet is solidly on his side following his charges. Rema hasn't exactly had a spotless past. If you were unaware, back in 2007, Remy's life took a significant turn when a fallout with her former friend Mac the Barnes Joseph escalated outside of a courtroom. Remy has a history of pulling triggers, which is why 50 Cent is side-eyeing this entire feud and calling it a sit-up. Nightclub in Manhattan, Makita was shot in the torso after the drama allegedly began. Over $3,000 that Remy thought had been stolen from her purse. Remy insisted it was an accident, but the prosecution didn't believe her. In 2008, she was found guilty of illegally possessing a weapon and attempting to kill someone, and the judge sentenced her to 8 years in prison. Rye has consistently maintained her innocence despite the on the Wendy Williams show, stating, "I didn't shoot anyone. Do you guys really think every time the judge and jury got it right every single time?" They didn't. Fast forward to 2014. Even though Remy spent 6 years in prison at the Bedford Hills Correctional Facility for Women in New York, she didn't miss a beat. Instead, she returned to the game and regained her place in the hip-hop industry. A boss, but Ray has always been honest about how prison influenced her life. She told the Fader that in the last 15 perfect thumbs up, I'll write this as a 1,700-word unique, smooth, documentary-style narration script, ideal for YouTube voiceover, hip-hop story, drama, or commentary style. It will cover Remy Ma's prison past and struggles, the alleged fight with Brittany Taylor, her legal aftermath and media reactions, 50 Cent's involvement and commentary, the bigger picture about reputation, loyalty, and redemption in hip-hop. ## microphone Remy Ma's untold story. The punch, the prison, and the power of reputation. Remy Ma is one of those rare figures in hip-hop who has lived through both the brightest lights of fame and the darkest shadows of consequence. Her story isn't just about success and failure. It's about survival. For years, she's been known as one of the fiercest female rappers to ever come out of New York City. Someone whose pen game could rival the best of them, and whose voice carried both pain and power. But while most rappers talk about the struggle, Remy lived it, behind bars, in courtrooms, and in the brutal spotlight of the industry. When Remy Ma talks about her past, she often reminds people that she spent more time in prison than in the free world. Those experiences shaped her forever. They left scars, lessons, and a toughness that became her armor. She said in interviews that she'll never forget the things she saw inside, the people she met, and the pain she endured. And it's that same energy, the fire of someone who's been through it all, that made her both admired and feared in hip-hop. But that fire has a cost. In 2019, Remy Ma found herself back in the headlines for all the wrong reasons. This time, it wasn't about a diss track or a music award. It was about a physical altercation that allegedly went down backstage at Irving Plaza in New York City. The story involved another reality TV personality and rapper, Brittany Taylor, known from Love and Hip Hop, New York. According to reports, the two women were at a benefit concert for Pretty Lou, a respected DJ and promoter, when an argument allegedly turned violent. Sources claimed that in the green room, tensions flared, words were exchanged, and then things escalated. Brittany later told police that Remy Ma punched her in the face, injuring her right eye. From there, everything spiraled quickly. Brittany didn't take the incident lightly. She went straight to the police, filed a report, and sought medical attention. She was hospitalized, photographed her injuries, and even requested that all surveillance footage from the venue be preserved as evidence. Brittany made it clear she wasn't going to let this slide quietly. Not only was she cooperating with law enforcement, but she was also reportedly preparing to file a civil lawsuit against Remy Ma. For Remy, it was déjà vu. After rebuilding her life post-prison, this was the last kind of headline she needed. She had just re-established herself in music, reality television, and even family life. Her comeback was being celebrated. She was proof that redemption in hip-hop was possible. But suddenly, one accusation threatened to undo all of it. When the story broke, the internet exploded. Fans were divided. Some believed Brittany Taylor's side without question, saying Remy's past spoke for itself. Others defended Remy, arguing that the situation sounded exaggerated or one-sided. Memes, hashtags, and gossip blogs all jumped on it, feeding the public spectacle. Eventually, Remy Ma turned herself into police. She was charged with a misdemeanor assault and briefly held in custody before posting bail. Cameras captured her leaving the precinct, composed but clearly exhausted. Remy's attorney at the time maintained her innocence, arguing that there was no solid evidence linking her to the alleged punch. Her team emphasized that surveillance footage didn't clearly show Remy hitting anyone, and that the accusations were inconsistent. Still, the case stirred up old ghosts, memories of her 2007 conviction for assault and weapons charges, which had led to her serving 6 years in prison. And that's where things got complicated. Remy's past wasn't just history, it was context. It followed her everywhere she went. The public perception of her as the tough one, the fighter, the one who doesn't play, became both her image and her burden. She had worked hard to evolve beyond it, but moments like this made it impossible to escape. And that's where 50 Cent entered the picture. If there's one thing fans know about 50, it's that he's always ready with an opinion, especially when it comes to hip-hop drama. When the feud between Remy Ma and another rapper, Claressa, began surfacing online, 50 didn't hesitate to weigh in. He started connecting dots publicly, mentioning Remy's history and making comments that blended humor, critique, and a bit of trolling. Some said he was just being 50, doing what he always does, stirring the pot, keeping his name in the headlines, and saying the things others are afraid to say. But others thought he went too far by bringing up Remy's criminal past, suggesting that she was the type who might easily revert to old habits. Now, whether 50 meant it seriously or not, his comments carried weight. He wasn't wrong to point out that Remy's story was filled with moments where emotion and pride turned into action, and that's what made her both respected and feared. But the tone of his remarks also highlighted something deeper in the culture: the way people in hip-hop are often trapped by their own reputations. Remy Ma's situation became a perfect example of that double-edged sword. She had come up from the Bronx, made her mark with Fat Joe's Terror Squad, and delivered unforgettable verses like on Lean Back. She earned her stripes not just as a woman in a male-dominated space, but as one of the most authentic voices in New York rap. That authenticity came from her real-life experiences: poverty, struggle, loyalty, betrayal. But it also became a label she couldn't shake. People expected her to be tough. They expected her to fight back. And when something went down, even without proof, people automatically believed it was possible because of who she used to be. That's the curse of credibility in hip-hop. For Remy, though, this wasn't just another scandal. It was personal. She had a family now, a daughter, and a public image she was trying to clean up. She had been working on music, reality shows, and business ventures. She was also using her platform to advocate for women in the industry and to speak about prison reform. So being dragged into another assault accusation was a painful reminder of how fragile redemption can be. As the case unfolded, it became clear that the situation wasn't as black and white as headlines made it seem. Witness accounts conflicted. Some said Remy wasn't even near Brittany at the time of the alleged punch. Others suggested there was tension but not physical violence. Over time, the case began to lose traction. Eventually, prosecutors couldn't substantiate the allegations strongly enough, and Remy avoided further jail time. Still, the damage was done. The media cycle had already run wild. For months, every story about Remy Ma had the word assault somewhere in the headline. It didn't matter that the charges were minor or that evidence was thin. What mattered was the narrative, the idea that Remy Ma, despite her success and growth, was still capable of letting her temper define her. And that's where the story becomes bigger than just one incident.